Hello and welcome to Rathod Science Academy. Today in this session, we are going to see current affairs of 19th April 2025. So let's get started with our discussion, guys. And today is Saturday. So there are very less number of articles because you don't have text and context and you don't have open page. So only editorial, in that editorial only two articles are important and we are going to discuss that. So most of the articles which are there in our newspaper which had been repeated from our earlier analysis. So see what are there in our today's newspaper and what we discussed in earlier class. So try to match it out and try to revise the yesterday's topics. And keep every Sunday, guys, for revising of topics which appeared or which you make note in the last 1 week, so that you will be intact with what is happening around us. Because the civil service exam is not about how much knowledge you have. It is about how much you are understanding your society. So how can you understand the society, what is happening around? So that is the only sources through newspaper. So try to be intact with what is happening in your surroundings, in your area, in your society, like that. So try to revise that so that you will be getting updated with what is happening and what government is doing. Okay. So this is the thing that what UPSC wants. So now let us see the first article, guys. Title says Rubio hints at US exit if Ukraine peace deal stalls. So what is the keyword? Keyword is Ukraine peace deal. Keyword is Ukraine peace deal. So from which subject you can see this, guys? Clearly it says it is from GS paper 2 under international relations. So to understand this article, you need to know some background. So what is that background? You need to know about this Russia-Ukraine crisis or Russia-Ukraine war. So actually it has been 3 years. It had been started in year 2022. That is exactly on February 24th, 2022. This Russia started attacking Ukraine. And recently 3 years done, 3 years completed. But still this Russia-Ukraine issue is going on. And every day you will be seeing the news. So actually, if something is happening in other countries, do there any organization that we have at international level to stop it? Yes. For example, we have United Nations Security Council. It is an organization which is established to promote peace in the countries. But even though we have that so-and-so called United Nations Security Councils also, we are not coming with end of this Ukraine-Russia war because of certain reasons. What are those reasons? So if you see about this United Nations Security Council, we have 15 members. So in that 15 members, we have 5 are permanent 5 or P5 nations and other 10 are temporary. Nothing but non-permanent members. So actually what is the issue with this United Nations Security Council is with this membership itself. So if permanent 5 countries, if any one country says no, means it will stop there itself because of veto power they are having. So in these 5 countries, Russia is one country. So will Russia vote against its own country? No. That is the one important reason why we are not having this peace which had been established through this United Nations Security Council in this Russia-Ukraine issue. But are there any other mechanisms? Answer is yes. So here we have so-called big world power countries. So they can come up with negotiations with Russia or with Ukraine and finally they can come up with a deal. That is happening now. So actually many countries are coming forward to come up with this peace deal. So actually if you see the title now, why it is in news? Because so Rubio, this person who is nothing but Secretary of State of US, he said that if there is delay in coming up of this Russia-Ukraine peace deal, we are going to exit. That means US will going to exit if there is any delay in this Russia-Ukraine peace deal. Okay, so that is why this is there in the news and this is some background that you have to know before reading this article. So if you don't know the background, you can't understand this article for sure. Okay, now let us see What are those agreements? So what is the context here? Context says that Marco Rubio, US Secretary of State, indicated, that is nothing but said that US might shift its focus away from securing a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine. So if there is any delay in signing of this deal, yes, USA can come out of this. So that is the one important thing which mainly said. That means if US wants to include, means this peace deal should happen very fast. There should not be any delay. That is the thing which mainly said by this so-and-so person. So if you're talking about agreements, as I said, we have an organization, United Security Council, and it is a failure, right? Because of veto power of Russia. Russia is not voting against itself. And other important efforts that we can make here is, first one is Ukrainian 10-point peace plan. Please make a note. The first important thing here is Ukrainian 10-point peace plan. And who promoted this? It was promoted by President of Ukraine, okay, in 2023 in this G20 summit. And what are the demands of Ukraine? The first one is there should be the withdrawal of Russian troops. First important thing. And second one is restoration of Ukraine's territorial integrity. And this one is Russia has to recognize its borders. And this one is prosecution of war crimes. So these are the demands which are made by Ukraine, so that they are going to come up with a deal that is called as Ukrainian 10-point peace plan. By whom? That is the president of Ukraine. And next very important thing, that is Minsk Agreement. M-I-N-S-K, Minsk Agreement of 2015. And these agreements, they were signed in year 2014 and 2015 in Belarusian capital called as Minsk. So if you see the names of agreements, names of conventions, that names they will get from the place where they held. That is very important. And you have to know where is that place located. Especially if you are reading international relations, and as well as if you are reading even in modern history also, and even in your environment related conventions and things, protocols, you will be getting these places. These places will be keeping as the name of that so and so thing. So don't confuse with this. So Minsk is a place which is the capital of Belarus. And this agreement were discussed and agreed upon with the involvement and support of which countries? France is involved, Germany is involved in this organization, and even OSCE, that is Organization for Security and Cooperation, Europe also involved in this. And actually this agreement was signed by this Ukraine as well as Russia. Why? Because to end the initial phase of conflict in eastern Ukraine. Okay. And next important one here is even United Nations is also taking some efforts for making this Russia-Ukraine deal. Okay, United Nations experts, they has consistently called for intensified efforts by the international community to achieve peace in this region. And especially they came up with United Nations Charter. Okay, so these are the some international agreements or international steps taken so that we are going to come up with this Ukraine peace deal. And now let us see the next article. Title says 74 killed in US strikes on Yemen fuel port Houthis. So actually again, which countries are involved here? US is involved, and next country is Yemen. And there is one rebel group called as Houthis. So what this article is saying that US is attacking this Houthis present in Yemen country. Okay, so in that attack, around 74 people they were died. So from which topic it is important, guys? From again GS paper 2 under international relations, you have to see this topic, and especially you have to see map locations. And Yemen is very important country in case of map, because it is surrounded by important water bodies, and even there is one important choke point which is present near it. So from that point of view, you have to see map of Yemen, guys. So now let us see what is this and who are these Houthis and why this US is attacking. So actually this article says that US strikes on Yemen fuel port. So in one fuel port of Yemen, US went for strikes. So in that strike, 74 people they were killed. And Houthis, they said that yes, it is one of the deadliest attacks so far. So actually here US has intensified its air strikes on Houthi controlled areas in Yemen. By using missiles and by using drones, they are attacking this Houthis areas in this Yemen, because Houthis are Iran-backed militant group. So if you see about some facts regarding Yemen, Yemen is located in Middle East, and actually it is the southern tip of Arabian Peninsula. It is very, very important. Which of the following country is the southern tip of Arabian Peninsula? Is Yemen. And which countries are bordering with Yemen? We have Saudi Arabia, we have Oman. And why it is important? Because it is sharing coastline with one of the important sea, that is Red Sea, and even Gulf of Aden, Arabian Sea, and as well as Gaudafi Channel, which is present at the south of this Yemen. And one important choke point called as Bab el Mandab, it is having access to it. Okay, and actually why this fuel ports are attacking by US is now Houthis. So Houthis are the militant group, and they are attacking the ships which are moving in this choke point to ensure the peaceful trade and maritime security. Now US is attacking this Houthis in this Yemen. Okay, who are these Houthis? Houthis are Shia militant group, and they are present in northwestern part of Yemen. And Houthis, they emerged in year 1990s, and they are rebellion against Yemenis government. And actually, which country is the father of the Shias? That is Iran. Okay, and which country is the father of Sunnis? Saudi Arabia. So actually these are the Shia militant group. That means which country will be supporting them? That is Iran. They are backed by Iran. And you know, Iran and USA are not friendly countries or enemy countries. So in international relation, you have to remember this quote. Friends will be our friend. Friends' enemy is our enemy. And enemy's enemy is our friend. That is the same thing that we can apply here. So here, Iran is not friend of US, right? So if Iran is present in these other countries, what happens? So that country is also opposite to US, right? So now US is attacking these Houthis, which are supported by Iran in Yemen. Okay, that is the thing that you have to see. That's it. And actually what they are doing here is, they are targeting ships in this Bab el Mandab Strait. So because of this, what happened? That is leading to the insecurity in this maritime trade. And even in this region, Gaza conflict is also increasing, because these people, they are especially targeting this Israel-related ships. Okay, so because of this, the issue is going on, and US went for strikes, and in these strikes, many people, they died. And now let us see the next, let us see the map actually. Yes, this orange color is our Yemen. And which countries are sharing border? Saudi Arabia and Oman. Only two countries are sharing border with this Yemen. And here we have Gulf of Aden, and we have Red Sea. And what is a strait? Strait is nothing but a narrow channel of water which is connecting two water bodies. It is one water body, Red Sea, and another water body is Gulf of Aden. So these two bodies are connected by one small narrow strait. That strait is called as Bab el Mandab, and it is a one important choke point. Okay, you have to see like that. Okay, now let us see the next article. Title says, Citizens Outfit approaches NGT against move to allot 100 acres for hotel near Simlipal. So have you heard about this Simlipal? Simlipal is located in the state of Odisha, right? That too in Mayurbhanj district of Odisha. So what the government now is doing is allotting 100 kilometers. Not 100 kilometers, it's 100 acres. 100 acres of land which is very much near to the Simlipal for hotels, for development. So is that good? So because of this, now people, they are approaching this National Green Tribunal to fight against this move of government. So from which subject we can see this? From GS paper 3 under Environment and Ecology, because Simlipal, it is one of the important biosphere reserve. Okay, so here you have to see about some facts regarding Simlipal Biosphere Reserve, and next you have to see about what is this NGT and NGT related facts, and next you have to see the present context, like why government is taking this step of allotting 100 acres of land near the Simlipal Biosphere Reserve for the developmental activities, or for the development of hotels especially here. So now if you see this article, So it is clearly saying that in the Mayurbhanj district of Odisha, citizens are fiercely opposing the state government's move. What is the step of the government here? Allotting 100 acres of land near the Simlipal Biosphere Reserve for a private hotel project. So for some private hotel project, they are allotting 100 acres of land. So because of this now, people are protesting against that move and they approached NGT to get justice. So if you see the points that you have to remember here is, so actually one person, his name is Banja Sena, has raised alarm over the plan of allotting land for the hotel because it is ecologically very sensitive area, right? Okay, next one here is, yes, citizens from this area also showing opposition against government land allocations because they are saying that it is harmful not only for those people who are living there, but even the people who are there, or like animals which are present there, or like plants, everything. Ecologically, it is very much sensitive area. And this Odisha is very much famous for tribal people, especially certain PVTGs are located in this Odisha region. They will be getting affected because of this developmental project. And next one here is, they're also questioning about what about this biodiversity. So if they are going for allotting 100 acres of land, so it includes around 2 lakh trees. They'll go for cutting of 2 lakh trees. So because of this, it will lead to ecological imbalance. And next one here is the proposed site. It is very near to the Simlipal Biosphere Reserve. It is within 700 meters. So because of this environmental concerns, they are raised here. Okay, that is the thing. And now let us see the next article. Title says a restoration of sanity to constitutional system. So actually, this article which is talking about the recent Supreme Court judgment. So what are the recent Supreme Court judgments are there in news? About Tamil Nadu governor power, right? So which article we discussed there? Article 200, which talks about power of a governor if the bill comes to him after passing by the houses, right? So again, the same thing which we are going to see, nothing more or less here. Just we are going to add about what is the Supreme Court judgment and what is the relevance of the Supreme Court judgment. That's it. And this topic is important from which subject? GS paper 2 under polity. In polity, you will be studying Lakshmikant, right? So in state legislature, you will be studying about state legislative assembly, state legislative council, and in the state executive, you will be studying about governor, right? So there you have to see about the powers of governor, especially whenever the bill which had been passed in the house, if that bill comes to the governor, so what are the powers which are present with the governor, you have to see that. So based on that powers only, now Supreme Court gave the judgment. You have to be very much clear about this Article 200 of our Indian Constitution, guys. Okay, now let us see the article, what it says clearly. So recently Supreme Court gave the judgment regarding the powers of governor under Article 200. Why? Because there was delay of 10 bills which had been passed by the house. And because of that delay, again, once again, they repassed the same bills in the house and they went to the governor and again the same situation. There is no assent like that. So because of this, yes, they filed a case. And the name of this judgment, please make a note somewhere. The state of Tamil Nadu versus the governor of Tamil Nadu. The state of Tamil Nadu versus the governor of Tamil Nadu. And in bracket, write about powers of governor under Article 200. So this is about the judgment, guys. So if you see about the constitutional provisions regarding what is the role of governor in the state bills, so which article says clearly? As I said, Article 200. So what is Article 200 says? When a bill is presented to the governor after being passed by the state legislature, the governor will have 4 options. What are they? He can give his assent. That is nothing but he can sign on that. And second one is he can withhold that assent. And next one here is he can return back that bill to the house for the reconsideration. And next one is he can reserve the bill for the president consideration. So there are the 4 options which are present with the governor if the bill comes to him. And if you see the provision of this Article 200, if the bill is written and passed again by the legislature, he shall not withhold any assent. But the case which happened in Tamil Nadu is, so first time they passed, he withholded, and second time they passed the same thing and again went to governor. Even that second time repassed bills also had been withholded by the governor. Is this according to the constitution? No. So it is unconstitutional. If once again the bill is repassed by the houses, so he should not withhold the bill according to our constitution. That is the thing which mainly said here. And if you see this Article 163, governor must act on the aid and advice of Council of Ministers. And in Article 142, what it says, it grants the Supreme Court the power to do complete justice in any case. So now Supreme Court is using this Article 142 to give the complete justice in the case of withholding of bills in Tamil Nadu by the governor. So because of this, there are three articles that you have to remember. Article 200, Article 163 and Article 142. So directly in your prelims, you may get question regarding article. Recently, Article 200 is in use. What it is? Or like recently, Article 142 in use. So what is this article? So like that, you may get a very, very simple question, so that you have to be very much prepared. And if you're having hold on these articles, especially while you're writing your prelims mains questions, answers, so introduction, you can write these articles so that you can add value to your answer, especially regarding this polity, guys. And now if you see what are the issues which are surrounding around this governor's role. So first one here is under this Article 200, they said government can give assent, can withhold, or can send back, or can reserve the bill for president. What's the time frame? No, there is no way written about what is the timeline through which he have to act under this Article 200. This is one important issue. And this one is, if the governors are in the opposition ruled states, that is nothing but at the central level we have which government? BJP. In Tamil Nadu, which government we have? It is not BJP, right? For sure. That means there are opposition ruled states are there. Who is the governor? Governor will be like gubernatorial post. Yes. Who will appoint the governor? President. That means there is no elections for the governor in the state, right? So normally in the opposition ruled states, governor will be delaying this legislation by using this Article 200. So this is the second important issue, guys. And this one here is there is lack of transparency. Whenever there is a failure to communicate the reasons why he is withholding that so-and-so bill, then what happens? It will violate the constitutional responsibility of a governor. So this is also one important issue. And this one here is, obviously, it is not only happening in Tamil Nadu, in different states where there are non-BJP ruling states are there. For example, in Kerala, in Punjab, even in Telangana also, we have this kind of similar delays. Okay, so these are the issues that we have. And if you see what Supreme Court said, Supreme Court gave a timeline or time-bound framework. So please make a note. So here, within 1 month, they have to give assent or they have to reserve as per state cabinet advice. So based on the advice, they have to take advice of this Council of Ministers under Article 163 and they have to give assent within 1 month or they can reserve within 1 month. And this one is 3 months if governor withhold the assent against advice. If he is against the advice of the state cabinet, then he can take 3 months of time. And 1 month to grant assent to re-enacted bill. So if that bill which had been again passed in the house, within 1 month he have to give the assent. He should not withhold more than that. And this one is 3 months maximum to reserve bill for president. If he want to reserve the bill for president, he should take only 3 months, not more than the 3 months. So these are the timelines which are given by Supreme Court under this judgment. It's very, very important and you may get a question on this. Remember 1 month and 3 months. And this one is, what is the significance of this judgment now? Yes, will it improve the relationship between the center and state? Yes. So here we can reinforce federalism. We can strengthen our legislative autonomy of elected state governments. And this one is, it will end misuse of delaying of passing of bills. Very important. And this one is, it also clearly clarifies our constitutional intent, why this article had been placed. And this one is, it will also helpful for ensuring legislative accountability. Okay, and if this judgment is given by Supreme Court, it can be equally applicable to all the states where this kind of issue is happening. So this is about the significance, guys. Okay, now let us see very important and interesting article of the day. See the title, Steering the Decarbonization of India's Logistics Sector. So what is the article talking about? Logistics sector. What is a logistic? Logistic is nothing but transportation. So can you tell me the mode of transportations that we have? We have roadways, we have railways, we have airways, we have waterways. And each and every mode of transportation have its own advantages and as well as its own disadvantages, right? So if you see this article, what is the keyword? The keyword here is decarbonization. Okay, so what is the problem with our transportation sector now? So normally, which is a fuel that we are using in vehicles? Diesel, petrol, right? So, and even in airways also we are using turbine, aviation turbine fuel. And in railways, we are using coal. Okay, nowadays we are going for electrification. Let us keep that aside. So normally we'll use coal for this railways also. What happens because of using of fossil fuels? There is increased carbon dioxide emissions. So here that is the thing which mainly said. So one important problem in our India's transportation sector is releasing of more and more carbon dioxide emissions. So because of increased carbon dioxide emissions, then what will be the impact? Global warming, climate change, melting of glaciers, black carbon will be released and air quality will be decreased. And next, what are the other problems? Yes, we can't achieve this goal of Paris climate deal and also carbon neutrality by 2070. So all these are our headaches, right? So because of using of fossil fuels, so these headaches will be furthermore increased. So this article is saying that, so we have to go for decarbonization. So if you want to achieve Viksit Bharat, what is this Viksit Bharat? India should get the developed country status by 2047. And in this Viksit Bharat, what is the target of our economy? We have to achieve 30 to 35 trillion dollar economy by 2047. So is that easy if you're not having this decarbonization? So actually what is happening here is because of increasing of pollution, will be affecting the health of the people? Obviously it will be impacting the health of children and as well as vulnerable people like elderly. So because of that, what happened? The potential in these people will be increased or decreased? Decreased. If potential is decreased, can we work hard? Can productivity is increased? No. So because of this, can we achieve our target of third largest economy by 2047? That is the thing which mainly said. If you want to achieve this Viksit Bharat 2047, we have to focus on decarbonization. Now tell me, what are the alternatives we have? We should not use this non-renewable sources like coal or like diesel or petrol. We can go for clean energy resources. Like we can go for electric vehicles and we can also go for solar powered run vehicles. And next, rather than using of coal in railways, we can go for electrified. Okay, next. What are the things that we can use? We can go for refined fuels. Okay. And next one is we can also use biofuels. We can use LNGs and we can use ethanol blended petrol. And India's target is 20% of blending of ethanol. So if you are blending of ethanol, what happens? The complete combustion of the petrol will happen. It will release low amount of emissions. So like that, we have to use some alternatives. That is the thing which mainly said. You know all these things. But here there is some targets, some data which is given. So please make a note of that data. That's it. Yes, here if you see the data, it is saying that logistics sector which contributes to 13.5% of our country's total greenhouse gas emissions. And if you see out of this 13.5%, so road transportation is leading to 88% of its contribution. Okay, that is the thing which mainly said. It is according to IEA report of 2023. You have to write that. And if you see in detail what this article is saying is, so Viksit Bharat, so what is the target of Viksit Bharat? We have to achieve it by 2047. Why 2047? It is the 100th year of getting of independence, right? So India's vision for resilient and self-reliant nation by 2047, and in this we are focusing on inclusive development. Inclusive development is very critical for ensuring growth. That means we have to include each and every section of society as a part of our growth and development. That is called as inclusive growth, and it is one important component of our Viksit Bharat 2047. And to achieve this vision, yes, we need efficient logistics sector and we need efficient supply chain management. If there is no proper transport system, can we ensure that the transporting of goods are happening on the time? Will we get the goods on time? So even if you're keeping order on like Amazon or Flipkart or Meesho or whatever it may be, so they will be giving you ID for tracking of where is your product is, right? So if there is no proper logistics, will they give you the delivery? No. So we need proper supply chain management and we need last mile connectivity. And sometimes if you're from remote areas or rural areas, if you want to order something on online, if you are entering your PIN code, so if they're saying that we can't deliver this to this address, will you be happy? No, right? So we need last mile connectivity. When we have last mile connectivity, when we have proper logistics sector. So actually logistics sector in India, it is one of the major contributor of carbon dioxide emissions. That is 13.8% of emissions are coming from this sector itself. Okay, so here this article is saying that we have to prioritize environmental sustainability. So first one is we have to focus on especially inclusivity and logistics, that I already said, because logistics and supply chain, they are the backbone of our economy. And this one here is logistics sector is one of the largest carbon dioxide emissions. I said 13.8%, right? That. And this one here is to decrease that emissions, we have to focus on innovations in this transportation sector. Okay, for example, rather than using this fossil fuels, we have to use cleaner options and we have to focus on technological advancement so that we can meet our environmental targets. And if you're talking about the railways, so we have to focus on expanding of railway lanes, because whatever the railway lanes are present, they are of British period. So there is no much significant advancement we made in the railways now. So we have to improve our railways and we have to upgrade our existing system. And this one is we have to focus on electrification of our railway lanes. And in the maritime areas also, so we are having good number of rivers. We have peninsular rivers, we have Himalayan river system. So we can use good inland and as well as coastal waterways so that we can reduce logistic emissions which we are causing by using of railways and as well as roadways. We can use this. And even we can focus on modernizing or expanding of our waterways infrastructure. And we can also use some cleaner maritime technologies like LNGs, biofuels, electric powered vessels, etc. for sustainable trade routes. And even we have to focus on proper warehouses for our renewable energy resources. And yesterday also we discussed about this V2G technology. We have to improve that V2G technology in our electric vehicles. That is nothing but electric vehicles to grid system. Okay, and even regarding this aviation also, we are using aviation turbine fuels which will release emissions. So because of that, it will also cause damage to our ozone layer which is present in stratosphere. Why? Because this aircraft, they will be generally moving in the stratosphere, not in troposphere, right? Okay, so because of all these things, we have to search for technologies and as well as alternative fuels so that we can achieve ecologically sustainable things. And finally, we can achieve our target of Viksit Bharat 2047. So these are some important things which are said in this article. And these are the important articles that appeared in our today's Hindu newspaper. So by this, I'm concluding, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And if you really like this class, please hit the like button. And please do share this class to your friends. And do subscribe to Rathod Science Academy. Don't forget.